Hey everybody, welcome back to J.P.'s World of Wrestling. I'm your man J.P. and yesterday I posted a short little video about the passing of Sid Vicious. But I wanted to take today and kind of go more into kind of detail about my memories of him. And there he is, he's our champion. There's his gold figure, WCW. It's a good figure. I like that it's realistically sized compared to the other ones because it's a little bit taller than the other ones. And Sid was a big guy. I first saw him in WCW when he was in a tag team with Dan Spivey, and they were called the Skyscrapers. But then Sid, broke out on his own, and he became, a singles wrestler in WCW, and he did okay for a while. But then I remember in the early '90s, he came to the WWF as Sid Justice, and so he had kind of a run. He had a feud with Hulk Hogan, and that was that was kind of what they went with for WrestleMania 8, and it all culminated at the Royal Rumble whenever Sid eliminated Hulk, and he was on the verge of eliminating Ric Flair to win the WWF title when Hulk Hogan kind of pulled his arm down and Ric Flair was able to throw him out, and Ric Flair won. And then in a press conference later on, WWF President Jack Tunney appointed Hulk Hogan as the number one contender, which made Sid angry. And then they were in a tag team match where Sid was Hogan's partner, and Sid kind of left Hogan high and dry in the ring against Ric Flair and The Undertaker. And so then we have WrestleMania 8, where Sid, wrestled Hulk Hogan. And so Hulk Hogan won the match. But after that, I think Sid left for a while. And then a few years later, he came back as Shawn Michaels' bodyguard. And then he was just, they just called him Big Sid. And then later on, Gorilla Monsoon coined the phrase Psycho Sid. So they started calling him Psycho Sid. And then he had a pretty solid run in WWF. He won the WWF title. He beat Shawn Michaels, won the title, and, Shawn Michaels won it from him, and then, he won it back. But then he lost the title in 1997 at WrestleMania to The Undertaker. And then after that, he showed up in WCW and had a pretty good run there. He became their world champion. And I always liked Sid, and I think that Sid was a realistic opponent for Goldberg because they put him in with Goldberg. That's when Goldberg was sort of on his undefeated streak. And they put him in with Goldberg. He had a run at WCW towards the end. And then I think, really towards the end, he was in a match with Scott Steiner, and he suffered, one of the worst injuries I've ever seen in wrestling, where he went to the second rope. He came down for a kick, and then he landed on his ankle, and his ankle bent to the side. Then when he was on his back, you could see his foot kind of dangling there, and it was just really ugly. It was brutal. It was a brutal injury, and he eventually healed, and he eventually was able to walk and run again, and I'm sure he was able to play softball. He was known for being a little bit unreliable, just because he was into softball, and a lot of times he would pick, playing softball over his wrestling career. And so very sad day in the world of wrestling. And actually, a buddy of mine from church said that in Springfield, Missouri, near where I live now, he said he was working in a Kmart. That's now a different store, but back then he was working at Kmart, and one day Sid came in and bought some film. And he asked him how he was, and I guess Sid was kind of in a bad mood. He just kind of groaned ugh, So anyway, he was probably having a bad day. I don't know. But anyway, Sid Vicious passed away at the age of 63. I guess he had been battling cancer for the past several years, and that's ultimately what led to his demise. And it's unfortunate and it's sad because it's yet another wrestling hero from my childhood is gone too soon. and hopefully the WWE will put him in the Hall of Fame. He's not there now. I think because Vince McMahon, didn't want to put him in because Vince McMahon had a problem with him. But maybe now that Vince is gone, it would have been nice had they done it while he was still alive. But that can't be helped now. So hopefully WWE will wise up, and hopefully they will put Sid in the WWE Hall of Fame where he belongs. And so, rest in peace, Sid Vicious. So, that's going to do it for today's video. So if you're new, please feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.